Shalom, family. Hey, just wanted to do this video today in obedience to Abba Yahuwah regarding the role of the man. Now, a good message that we had yesterday with the Gibberim was actually something Yahuwah gave me months ago. I want to say like back in the summertime. He just started ministering to me about how his desire is for the men in Yasharel to step up and be the lead, right? Ruachally. Really in all matters, but really being the high priest and the intercessor of his home, right? Loving his wife, his Isha, the way that Mashiach Yahusha loved the assembly, right? So it's not going to be a long word, just something that we were meditating on yesterday on the Gibberim call with the ox and the assembly. And make a long story short, I mean, that's what it is. One of the reasons why our nation is so broken down and divided and messed up is ultimately because of the absence of the man in the household. Now, we know that just in general, statistically speaking, right, the majority of black men in America are where? They're incarcerated. A lot of them are homosexual, right? And then a lot of them are just absent from the house. They're deadbeats, right? They're deadbeats. And what I mean by that is that they might physically be married to their woman, but they cheating on them. They beating them, right? They're mentally and verbally abusive, right? Or they're just not there. They're not married to them. They got kids all over the place, right? And again, all of these things go back to the curses, right? Read Deuteronomy 28. You'll see that a lot of these are curses that came upon us because as a whole, as a nation, we forsook Yahuwah. But in general, our forefathers, they left the ways of Yahuwah. So therefore, our nation had to suffer these consequences, right? And again, a lot of this stuff has been heavier in this captivity, right? The captivity that would happen on slave ships, right? As mentioned in Deuteronomy 28:68. So I just want to say this, man, we got to step up, right? Yahuwah, this awakening, everybody coming to the truth. I mean, unfortunately, it's still a whole lot more women than it is men in the assemblies. And it's ultimately because women don't really have as big of an issue submitting to authority in general. I'm not saying every case. I'm just saying generally speaking. But when it comes to the man, because the man never saw their father or their grandfather or their uncle or their brother walk submitted to Yahuwah, then it's just it's a darkness to them. It's a dark place. It's blind. They're blinded to this because they haven't seen men operate and function in true Torah truth, right? So let's talk about what it means to submit, because we know part of the reasons why man, going all the way back to Adam and Chawah, fell was because what happened? Chawah was conversing with the serpent, the Nahas, and where was Adam? Absent, right? He was nowhere to be found until she gave him the fruit and then he ate of it. So that's ultimately a pattern of what goes forth. And Yahuwah's judgment upon the woman was that her desire would be to her man, but that her man would rule, right, over her. And when you look at that word rule, right, it goes back to the word mishli, which goes back to the idea of dominion. So ultimately, Yahuwah in the garden told Adam, look, man, you're supposed to have dominion in this area. You messed up. So now you have to step up. And it's been a consistent thing, which is why he ultimately sent Hamashiach, right? Isaiah 59 talks about how Yahuwah saw no man, right? He looked and he saw no man. He saw no intercessor. So he sent his arm as strength, as salvation, right? That's Yahusha. So when Yahusha came, he did what Adam did not do. He stepped up, right? And was the lead. He was the lead. I mean, he was the head of the household, right? He loved the assembly, right? And giving his life for it. So Mashiach is the true picture of submission, ultimate submission to Yahuwah, right? And we know according to Ephesians 5, right? I believe 1 Peter chapter 3, it talks about how ultimately the man, yeah, he's the head of the household, but he's supposed to be submitted to Yahuwah, right? Or submitted to Yahusha, who is under Yahuwah, right? And the wife then submits to the man. So at the end of the day, if she's a daughter of Zion and she's walks in the Ruach, She's not gonna submit to you if you're not submitted to Yahuwah. Why would she, as a virtuous woman, submit to foolishness? That makes no sense. So again, Yahuwah is calling the men to step up and understand what true submission is. Right? I want to give y'all 2 Hebraic definitions for what submission is. Right? The first one would be the word kashech. Kashech. Kaf chet shin. Kashech. And it literally means to deny. Denial of oneself. Right? And it goes back to the idea of a submission hold, right? When somebody's in a submission hold, what they do, they tap out, right? To submit to Yahuwah, you have to tap out of your flesh. You have to tap out of the things that you desire, what you want, what you need, and start consulting and seeking Yahuwah on all ruachal matters. There's no reason why your Isha should be leading you when it comes to ruachal things. She praying more than you. She fasting more than you. She's studying more than you. That's a problem. She's worshiping more than you. That's a problem. It's a major problem. Man, we got to step it up in that area, right? Our Isha should see us in the morning praying, right? They should see us studying in our word and leading, right? So again, that's the first definition. And again, to deny oneself, which what did Mashiach say in Luke? He said, well, it's in Matthew as well, but he said, listen, unless one denies himself, he cannot be my disciple. Pick up his tree, right? Not his cross. We know it wasn't a cross. It was more of a cross beam, right? That they would place on a tree to hang people. But make a long story short, he's like, look, if you don't deny yourself, pick up your beam, your wooden beam, and follow me, you can't be my disciple. So not only is that a basic for the Ish, the man, the head of the household, as high priest and intercessor, but it's a basic for following Mashiach, right? So you got to be submitted to Yahuwah, right? In that form, the kashech, right? Now, let's talk about repesh, right? That's the second word for submit Hebraically, right? Resh, pei, shin, repesh. And it literally goes back to the idea of stomping through mud, right? A stomping of the feet through water, so that it can become muddy. So not stomping through mud, stomping through water with muddy feet, with the idea of the water resembling or taking on the characteristics of the mud that was on the feet of the person who stomped through the water, right? Ultimately, the picture of this is literally you allowing Yahuwah to shape you and mold you into what he wants you to be, right? We joke about being stomped out with the Yahusha 9s and the Yahusha 11s and the 13s and all that. But ruachally, look at it. It's a chastisement of him grooming you into the person he wants you to be so that you can lead your household, man. So that for women, you can submit and you can be a righteous counsel to your Ish. Because just because the man is the head of the household doesn't mean that the wife, right, isn't a righteous counselor, right? She's supposed to be the helpmeet to her Ish, to her husband, right? So again, repesh goes back to the idea of you humbling yourself. Very similar to denying yourself, but you humbling yourself so that Yahuwah can stomp his imprint upon you, right? So to do these things, man, you gotta be submitted fully to Yahuwah. We have to start leading our households in these areas because Yahuwah showed me 3 things. One, he showed me that if a man can lead his house spiritually and his wife can trust that he is obedient to Yahuwah, she will, if she's a daughter of Zion, she'll be more submissive to him. She'll trust him in areas that she didn't trust him in before, right? Second thing is that when your wife, when your Isha, when your Yeladim, your children see the consistency of you seeking Yahuwah, it's going to encourage them and strengthen them on their path as well, right? So again, when it comes to like setting goals, if you say you're going to get up and work out, you say you're going to fast, you say you're going to do whatever you're going to do, you're going to clean out the garage, you're going to clean out the car. Don't just set those goals, but actually achieve those goals so that your Isha and your Yeladim can see them. And ultimately that goes back to you being the leader, right? You decreeing a thing and that thing being established, right? That's a characteristic of Yahuwah, because none of his words are spoken in vain or come back to him void. And then the last thing I want to talk about is leading the house, but being sensitive enough and seeking the Ruach to be able to make your wife or your Yeladim whole, right? understanding their emotional needs. This is something I'm still working on. I know I'm far from perfect in this area, but I know I'm improving because I'm seeking Yahuwah on this. And my relationship with my Isha has gotten better over the years as I have seeked Yahuwah on these things. So I'm just sharing with y'all what Yahuwah showed me about the men. The only way our nation can be a strong city, strong, powerful nation, Yasharel, right? The Yehuda, the tents of Yehuda to be raised up, right? And to be established as the prophecy says they will be, is if we as men step up to our rightful place and really inquire Yahuwah. Get rid of the lust, get rid of the fear, get rid of the pride, get rid of the laziness. Get up and leave the house, not just in bills, because some people think, oh, because they provide financially, they're good. No, it's deeper than you just providing financially, right? It's you providing that ruaku guidance. Because why? You're submitted to Yahuwah. So just wanted to encourage y'all with this word. It's something, again, it's a refrigerator word that Yahuwah been placed on my ruach for the men. As a matter of fact, if you know a man that's new in this truth, or that is, you know, if you are in a koti or a ima and you have a husband who's struggling with these areas, send this video to him, right? Let him know that scripture says that the man, he's supposed to be the high priest and the intercessor of his household. He's supposed to be consistently meeting with Yahuwah, consulting direction for the family and for his house. So, hallelujah, shalom.